Do you wish that you had a way to more easily learn and remember phrasal verbs in English? In today's lesson, I'll explain and show you a fun tip on how to do that. Hi, I'm your English coach, Christina, and welcome to Speak English with Christina, the best place to become more confident speaking business English step by step. One thing that students always struggle with in English is how to learn and remember phrasal verbs. Well, today I want to share with you a fun technique that's going to use your imagination and your creativity, but more importantly, it's going to help you always remember new phrasal verbs. All right, today I have a tip for you. Tip, T-I-P, it stands for turn into a picture. We're going to take a few phrasal verbs and we're going to transform them into pictures in your mind so that you can visualize them, you can more easily remember them. So let's take the first phrasal verb, get back to you. It's a very common phrasal verb in business English. I was on the phone just the other day and I used it and I said, oh, that would be a good one for this video. So get back to you. Now, get back to you. It means to recontact someone, to contact someone again. For example, let me find the answer and I'll get back to you with some information. I'll recontact you with some information. So we're going to turn that phrasal verb into a picture. So let's imagine get. You know the word get, it means like to grab or to obtain or to reach something. So let's say get and then back. So like, you know, you're back here, to get back to someone. So it means you're going to recontact someone. So we can turn that into a visual image of like you running behind someone, running after them, and you're trying to get their back so that you can tell them something. So there's one little mental image that you can have for get back to someone. Now, you might be thinking, Christina, that's a silly little story. I would never run after someone and grab them by their back. But you know what? It is a silly story, but who are the people who learn languages best? Children, you know, so many of my students, they say, oh, I'm too old to, you know, learn English very well, or I should have started when I was a child. They learn so much more easily. But why do they learn more easily? Because they use their imagination, because they're creative, because they're not afraid to make these silly stories and to say silly things, because they're, you know, using that part of their brain, and that's going to help you to have fun with it, but also more importantly, to remember it. So don't be afraid to make silly stories. The sillier, the more unusual, the more memorable it is. Okay, our second phrasal verb, an example, to break down. So to break down, it means to take like a big process or a very complex explanation, for example, in a presentation, and to really divide it into the little individual steps so that your listener can better understand what you're talking about, really step by step. And that's what I try to do with my lessons, is to really break things down so that you can understand English better. So if we break down something, this is quite easy. We can visually imagine we've got an object which we break, like we, you know, break into little pieces, and then we put those pieces down on the floor or the table. But when we break it and we put it down and we're standing over it, looking at it, we can really see a global overview, and we can understand, or we can see the little individual parts. So if you want something visual to break down something, imagine yourself literally breaking it, putting it down on the floor so that you can see all those parts and, you know, maybe get a better global vision of it. And again, like I said, the idea is not to make a story or an image that is, super interesting or intellectual, or it's really just to give you something that's going to allow your brain to remember what that phrasal verb means. All right, and a third very common business English phrasal verb is to reach out. You might see this in an email. Thanks for reaching out to me. Or you may say it, I'm reaching out to you to propose a collaboration or something like that. Anyway, when we often use it in emails to reach out to someone, it basically means like I'm contacting you for the first time. So let's imagine, what's the kind of image or story that we can create with that? We often use it in email. It's often for sort of a first contact. We could almost imagine like someone is, reaching their hands like through the screen. They're reaching out of the screen, trying to get your attention or to get you to respond to them. So we can imagine that like you're writing your email, I'm reaching out to you, so I'm reaching through your screen. I'm reaching out to you to try to establish that first connection. So that's 3 examples of phrasal verbs and 3 ways that you can turn those phrasal verbs into pictures. Remember that tip, turn it into a picture. But if you want other things that you can do with these phrasal verbs, once you see it, you turn it into a picture, but now you know that you need to do something with it to really practice and sort of, assimilate it into your English vocabulary. Here are 5 things that you can do with it. The first thing is very simple. Just read it, note it down somewhere that you can see it often, like on a Post-it on your computer. It's a very easy way to do that. Be sure to look at the definition of it. You can go on to a good online dictionary or Lingui. There's lots of different sites. You can just type, for example, reach out to definition, and you'll find a definition. Then you want to do something now that you know the phrasal verbs. So set a goal for yourself. Maybe you want to learn 3 phrasal verbs a week, or maybe it's just one per day. If you learned 1 phrasal verb per day, you could learn 30 phrasal verbs in a month, 365 phrasal verbs in a year. Imagine what your English would be like if you mastered 365 more phrasal verbs. You can do it, but then try to use it. Use it in conversations, use it in your emails. You have more time to think when you're writing emails. So maybe try to use it in emails or like chat if you use chat at your work. And then teach it to a coworker or a friend or a colleague or something. I'm sure you have coworkers who are also improving their English. Tell them, hey, I learned this new phrasal verb to get back to someone. And I imagined, running after someone because I want to get their back. I want to recontact them, reconnect with them. Teach it to someone, because when you're teaching it, you're also, going more in depth. You're deepening your own learning. All right, so that's your technique for turning phrasal verbs into pictures, but also remembering them better. And if you would like to learn more phrasal verbs with me, then subscribe to my YouTube channel so you get lots more business English videos. And also go ahead and watch this next lesson, which has a lot more phrasal verbs for you, and you can start trying this turn into picture technique. All right, I will see you over in the next lesson.